In this video, I'm going to show you not one, but 7 different ways to crush your competitors in e-com and make them come begging to you for a market share. And these 7 tactics are so simple, your brand, regardless of the niche or industry you are in, should be able to implement this right away. Starting with the very first way to destroy your competition is through a perceived value focus. Now, to illustrate this, I did a quick search on men's running shoes. As we all know, some of the biggest brands in this industry are brands like Nike, Adidas, Zappos, On, so on and so forth. All of these brands have 2 things in common. Number 1, all of these brands have millions and millions of dollars in ad spend to back them up. Number 2, all of these brands have built authority through another sort of currency which goes beyond the realm of the digital world. And this is the number of years they've been in the market. And honestly speaking, now after running Google Ads and just e-commerce brands in general for the past 7 years, one thing I have realized is your ideal prospect, your ideal customer rewards the brand authority in terms of the number of years you have been in the market a lot more than the overall dollar amount you spend. Because in all honesty, your customers could care less how much money you spend on a daily, monthly, weekly basis. All they care about is how much can they trust you, how much do they resonate with you, so on and so forth. And because of that, the reality is in 2026 or in any year for that matter of fact, your brand cannot compete with these big multi-million dollar behemoths on a surface level, because there's no way you have a bigger budget than Nike or Adidas. If you do, send me a DM. I would love to handle Google Ads for you. And there's no way you have been in the market for as long as Nike and Adidas, where some of them have been literally in the market for decades. So now that brings us to the main question. How do you crush a competitor at this level of scale? And it could be the Nike and Adidas of your industry. The real answer to this question is you need to focus on the perceived value aspect of your ads to stand tall amongst your competitors on the Google Ads side. This directly resonates with the type of product image strategy you have, the overall product title approach you have, the Google Merchant Center reviews, promos, how many reviews you have, and so much more. But essentially, if you cannot beat your competition by spending more money, you have to solve the other part of the equation. On the Google Ads side, one part of the equation is the bids and the budgets, but there's 3 other parts of the equation. The first one is the expected CTRs of your ads. The second one is the landing page experience. And the third one is the overall relevancy of your products based on who you are targeting and where you're ranking. This goes beyond Google Ads, because the reality is, even if you're on Meta ads, if you're on TikTok ads, or organic traffic for that matter of fact, the perceived value of your ad is everything. You cannot spend more money than Nike and Adidas, but you sure can go inside your previous customer list, go inside your target audience demographic, and figure out to the T exactly how your perfect customer speaks, what language they prefer in terms of how they want to understand your product, and so much more. Because what this does is this directly makes it so the perceived value of your ad directly speaks to what they want to hear. There is no guesswork. And in this situation, in terms of the men's running shoes example, on the Google Ads side at least, we can see that majority of these competitors have a very, very similar approach to each other. The product is right smack in the middle, pointed to one direction, and it's on a plain white background image. Now, what this tells me directly on a front end view is majority of the customers that shop within this industry, within this niche, prefer to have a simple, bland, straightforward approach where they get to see the shoe. There's no sort of bells and whistles on this product image. And that's exactly how all of these competitors are approaching this industry in general. So in order to stand out, in order to stand tall per se, what that would mean is essentially coming into the market and either having some sort of different approach where all of these shoes are basically on a square background, but then you come with your shoe where it's on a more of a vertical background, which makes the overall placement of your ad come down a bit, or you can go a bit more extreme and have somebody wear it. This is basically how you stand out from the competition. And on a direct front end level, this has much higher perceived value than any other ad because of the realism associated with it. And you can translate this into your titles, having bigger and better titles, or if everybody's titles are bigger, making yours smaller. You can even translate this into the number of reviews you have. If, for example, your main competitors have 300, 400 reviews, you need to come in with 10 times more reviews than them and import these reviews directly into the Google Merchant Center. Or if you don't have the ability to do that, on the other hand, having no reviews at all, especially if your competition, all of them have a bunch of reviews. It's all about increasing the front end perceived value through your ad, whether it be Google ads, whether it be Meta ads or TikTok ads, and just putting in more time, effort, energy to resonate with your perfect customer. The easiest way, in my opinion, to destroy your competition, because now in the world of AI, what you want to understand is 95% of your competition is taking the lazy way out. They're going to these AI softwares, they're giving it one simple prompt, and from there they're generating a gazillion different creatives, a gazillion different product images, which they're directly now using inside these ads that they run, which means the overall entry point for the market has just dropped by a tenfold, making it a lot easier to stand out with a custom creative approach. But this brings us to the second way to literally obliterate your competitors, and this is through a bigger product selection. Most brands don't take this seriously enough, but basically from my experience working with over 500 brands in the last 7 years, what I've come to realize is that the brands at the top of this list of our roster, basically the brands doing multi-million dollars a month, one of the things they have in common is that all of these brands have a gazillion different SKUs that they go after. Not one SKU, not 50 SKUs, literally hundreds and thousands and even hundreds of thousands of SKUs. For example, this brand right here does about 3 million a month from Google Ads with our strategies. It has roughly 7,000 SKUs, which is again on the lower end compared to some of the other brands we work with. Like for example, this one right here, both active on Google Ads as well as Meta ads, and also nowadays a little bit of Pinterest and TikTok ads, has a total of 18,000 SKUs. And the reality is, it's not about the number of SKUs you have. It's not about just spreading out your wings, going into every single market targetable within your industry. It's rather about offering more product offerings to then have a higher chance for your brand to reach untapped markets. Take, for example, the baby industry. Let's assume you're selling to parents of kids under the age of 5. You're selling baby diapers, baby cribs, baby pacifiers, so on and so forth. And those are the only 3 specific collections you want to go after. Well, the thing is, there's only so much amounts of baby pacifiers you can add to your collection. There's only so much amounts of specific baby cribs and so on and so forth that you can add. But the moment you go into a different addressable market, now going after baby shades, for example, or going after baby shoes, that's a whole new market you just unlock, and that's a whole new realm of people you can actually go after with a better strategy, with a better approach within whatever you're currently doing. And what this essentially translates to is dominating different sectors within an overall industry, just so you can pave your way into the main sector. So for example, let's say you're really trying to crack the baby crib industry because that's where the highest margins are for your brand. And you notice, for example, when you go on Google and just type in the keyword baby crib, and again, this could be translated to anything you do, Facebook, TikTok, that's besides the point, but you see that majority of the top placements are taken over by the big behemoths of your industry. Well, now to enter this market, you need 2 things in place. Number 1, high spend. Number 2, brand authority. Obviously, if you have limited spend, if you're not getting enough results, then it doesn't make sense to spend more money. On the other hand, you can build brand authority within your algorithm, whether it be Google Ads or Meta ads, by making your way into a different market that's a bit easier to crack. In this situation, maybe the baby shoes market is a lot easier to crack. Dominate the market for a few days, maybe even a few weeks. Let the algorithm understand your brand. Let the algorithm feel how you speak to your direct customers, what the keywords you use, what kind of ad creatives you run, so on and so forth, so that it has a general idea of what your brand is about and if it's actually providing the experience that these ad platforms expect from your brand or not. Because only then, when you enter these bigger markets that you want to actually crack, will these ad platforms make it easier for you to not only get into the market, but win more auctions, bid less, and get higher quality customers as a result. But the problem is, most brands I regularly talk to, they're trying to do the opposite. They're trying to go right smack into the bigger markets with big industry leaders right from the get-go. And because these industry leaders have been in the market for years and decades, the problem is Google or any platform isn't just going to favor your brand over theirs just because now you decided to spend some money on the platform. It's going to take time to build that authority. You can bypass this by just offering better product selections and bigger product selection to then dominate smaller markets first and then pave your way quite quickly into these bigger markets. Very easy approach. I've seen this work many times throughout the years I've run e-commerce brands. But this brings us to the third major way to destroy competition. It's through speaking to your customer better. I spoke about this a bit earlier, but here are 4 key questions you want to ask yourself whenever you're creating ads for your brand. Number 1, who are your perfect customers? Number 2, what are they saying? Number 3, what are they dealing with right now? And number 4, most important of all, how does your product solve their ideal issues or desires? You know, it's actually crazy to me how many brands I speak with regularly, which, by the way, if you run a brand making $50,000 a month or more in revenue, you need some extra help scaling to the next level with Google Ads profitably, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description below to directly schedule a call with me, and let's see how we can potentially work together to scale your brand profitably to the next level. But so many brand owners I speak with literally cannot answer 3 of these 4 questions. They are basically guessing and just copying their competition to the points that whatever their competition does, if they're targeting a specific audience, these brand owners think that that is also their perfect audience. But the reality is, within one whole industry you're targeting, for example, within one baby niche, there are 50, 100, 1,000 different small pools of an audience, small pockets of an audience your brand could be targeting. And the only way to figure out who you want to go after is to answer these 4 questions, especially the 4th one. Because what I like to do is I like to come up with 5, 10, 50 different answers to these questions that let us know which pockets of the audience we actually want to target. For example, the baby shoes industry, maybe we're looking to create baby shoes for specifically the disabled babies that have crooked feet, or maybe they have some other disabilities or problems with their feet. And obviously, these parents are trying to solve completely different problems for their babies compared to a normal baby. It would be a mistake to go into your ads and create a specific ad around a baby shoe that, for example, Nike sells, because maybe these baby shoes are made for some athletic performance, maybe for the rock star babies who are already in sports and looking to become athletes later on down the line. And you are only going to know these things if you go deep into audience analysis and actually figure out how your customers speak, because only then, only when you speak better than your competition, can you actually destroy them. Can your ads actually sound better? Can they actually flow better and make your people that you want to target listen to them for a longer period of time? But that brings us to the 4th major way of destroying your competition. It's through branding. Now, hold on. You're probably thinking when I say branding to have better packaging, to make it colorful, to add all of these bells and whistles to make it seem like something that dropped right from Mars. Well, the reality is branding isn't supposed to be crazy. It isn't supposed to be fancy. It's supposed to be simple, sleek, and to the point. The only aspect of branding that you want to get right is by going above and beyond the general packaging that you send your products in. And a great story for this from my own personal life, when I used to run my own brand back in 2017 to 2020, it was a brand that was focused on the relationship accessories niche, basically selling relationship bracelets, necklaces, matching couples outfits. So for example, if we do a quick search for matching couple outfits, these are the kinds of products that we would essentially sell. And I remember one specific product, which was a best-selling product. I called it the crown bracelets. Essentially, it was matching couple bracelets, which looked in this specific manner. It was something similar to this. And obviously, these competitors during that time were selling very, very similar bracelet, very, very similar products in general. And there was no kind of outlier effect to my product. So what I did is I took branding to the next level by adding in a specially designed, specially printed, custom product meaning card, and I put it inside every single package that started getting shipped out. Basically, this was a custom designed card that was not on this normal piece of paper. It was papers where it feels unique to the touch and it is a little bit hard, like a hard copy almost. But essentially, I made a complete meaning out of these bracelets, exactly what it means, why it's so symbolic, what's the definition of having matching bracelets, how no matter where the couple goes in the world, even if they're far apart, they can still feel united, they can still feel close together by just wearing these bracelets. And that meaning card is something I started shipping as an extra step for branding amongst every single package that we started shipping out. Flash forward 4 weeks after doing that, my sales almost tripled, simply because all of our customers would then go on social media, would go on their stories, would literally take a video of that meaning card along with the bracelets next to them, because it had such a beautiful touch to it, because I went above and beyond in terms of branding. And flash forward, that helped my Google Ads strategies, Facebook ads, TikTok ad strategies, much more than having unique creatives and offering these crazy discounts would ever have. And that's the power of branding. You want to go beyond just doing the generic normal packaging, just shipping out your products in basic cardboard boxes, and take your branding to the next level in terms of the overall design of the package, but also what's included in the package. And this can ultimately help you destroy your competitors at a much faster rate. Bringing us now to the fifth way of destroying your competition. It's through horizontal volume. Now, here's the thing about competition. A lot of these brands you see right here, they might be appearing on Google ads. They might be appearing on Meta ads, TikTok ads. Maybe some of them would be on Pinterest. Maybe some would be doing organic SEO, but that's usually where majority of these brands stop in terms of horizontal volume, horizontal scale. In order to destroy your competition in 2026, you need to go beyond the realm of where your normal competitor is and appear essentially everywhere your audience is in the market. And the ultimate goal of doing this is to basically follow your audience everywhere they go. For example, in my situation of selling matching couples bracelets, I noticed that my audience was much younger, below the age of 25, often purchasing, and a lot of these people would also be on Facebook, TikTok, Google, Pinterest even, but a lot of them would be on placements like random Reddit posts or in Facebook groups. So what I essentially started to do was I started to reach them by running ads in these segments where I potentially could, even on WhatsApp, as much as possible. And this essentially allowed me to set up this entire cold traffic ecosystem along with a retargeting ecosystem in the back end that would follow them literally every single spot they went to in any place online, whether it be a blog page, whether it be a WhatsApp group, whether it be a specific page within Reddit, so on and so forth. And this really allowed us to dominate the market and basically crush our competition, because now we had such strong retargeting flows in place, we had such strong overall ecosystem in place that we did not just have to rely on a few set ad platforms for these sales. And this kind of ties back into one of the key questions of what's happening with this AI revolution, especially right now. I mean, just doing a quick search on Google as to how many touch points before someone purchases right now, there was something called the traditional rule of 7, which back in the day, this absolutely applied, where it took a total of 7 different touch points before a customer decided to shop with your brand, before they decided to buy something that you sell. However, in modern day with the AI revolution, this is at an all-time low, requiring sometimes up to 200 different touch points depending on the overall AOV of your products before somebody purchases. This is an absolute nightmare if you only rely on one or a select few ad platforms. So what this essentially means is we need to reach our market in different aspects and reach them not only one time, not only 7 times, but 8 to 13 times, even 20, 30, 40 times, as much as possible, because the overall attribution window between when a user sees your ad versus when they purchase has expanded much more than what it was at 1 year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And your strategy needs to expand with it. Otherwise, your competition will always continue to destroy your brand, especially if they have the ability to spend higher. Which brings us to the second to last way of destroying your competition, which is through competitor targeted ads. Now, with Google Ads, there's a very beautiful thing we can do, which is essentially if somebody is, for example, typing in this situation, let's say the brand Jared Jewelers, we have the ability to directly run a search campaign for their specific keyword. So whenever somebody types this in, we can actually have our ads show up directly within these search campaigns and basically steal their traffic. This is something we can do on the Google Ads side. You can also do this with Facebook ads, specifically by talking about your competition within your creatives, of course, ethically and in a morally right manner. You don't want to just talk down on your competition, because this will lose you credibility and this will lose you customers a lot more. But super simple approach, just directly target their keywords as much as possible. And of course, while ensuring that it's morally correct, morally accurate, just run targeted ads, whether it be search campaigns or a Facebook ads creative or even a retargeting flow towards the competition. Which brings us to the final way of destroying your competition right now. It's through just doing it better. I mean, when it comes to the products you're competing on, when it comes to your overhead margins, when it comes to even the efficiency of your ads, you need to basically focus on cracking every single aspect of ads and every single touch point to ensure that you can provide a better quality product based on your competition, based on whatever you see amongst your competitors. Maybe make it higher quality, maybe offer different designs, maybe create it in different colors, variations, so on and so forth. You can even go further and negotiate prices with your suppliers, bring it down as much as possible while retaining that quality so that your overall overhead margins can decrease and and as a result, you're able to spend more money at the same time as you add efficiency to your ads. The number one thing most brands avoid is making whatever's already working better. They're going out in 10 different angles. They're shooting in all these different pathways, trying to make things work, when the reality is just make whatever is working 10 times better. Improve your margins, add more efficiency by having better strategies, if it's with Facebook ads or TikTok ads, making better creatives, and even improving your conversion rates, because all of this will help you double, triple, quadruple whatever is working right now and literally milk it out before you even consider expanding in any of these 6 other ways I've mentioned before. Because the reality is you might be surprised how much more you can milk out whatever is working right now until you find the need to expand horizontally, to go and do different things, different marketing platforms, so on and so forth. But with that being said, these were the 7 simple tactics which, if you implement it right now, can literally obliterate every single competition you have, make it so that they're coming to you begging your brand for a market share. But if you run an e-commerce brand making $50,000 a month or more in revenue, you need some extra help scaling to the next level profitably and consistently with Google Ads, scan the QR code on the screen or just click the link in the description below, and let's see how we can potentially work together to implement all of these 7 tactics and scale profitably to the next level with Google.